Do you like free fabric?
We're going to tell you how to get some. Hi, it's Fran Morgan.
And Donna Robertson with Fabric Cafe.
Today we have something really special. We have brand new quilt models and fabric kits for all the quilts in Make It Modern.
Plus, we're going to do a fabric giveaway where 3 lucky people will get free kit and a book. Stay tuned to learn how to participate.
Now let's get started. This is Curio, and I love the Curio pattern. Couple of reasons. One, of course, I'm very fond of the snowball block, and this one has a really nice large one that shows off this super fun fabric. Now, another thing I really like about this quilt that I think is a little unique is it has a sashing block that has 3 different lines. So you've got a couple of different colors in that adds some interest, separating your snowball block, and then a nice little joining block. Very simple, very fun. Let's get it on the table and check out this awesome fabric. Okay, this is such fun fabric, Mom. I love this.
I love it too.
It is so cool. Now, little fun fact about this fabric. This is the original fabric that I had planned before we released the book to do the original model in the book, but it didn't quite get here in time. So we saved it so that you could still get it.
That is great, though.
It's so fun. I really, really like it. Now, we have our fun circles and with our black and all of our multicolors as our focus, and it goes where the snowball is. And then for our number 2, we have this kind of gray and white mottled. And I like using this kind of fabric for our number 2 because even though it's a modern quilt, it kind of softens it a little bit, I think, and it's not just the stark white.
Yeah. I always like, well, as we say, we like those number 2s that are not boring.
Yes, and this one definitely isn't. And you can see how the corner of our snowballs and in our little sashing block here, it kind of adds a nice texture to it. And then our black, which is kind of a linen texture look. Now it's a printed linen texture on our black, so it gives us a little bit of dimension and frames our snowballs so beautifully.
I like that.
So well. So this is really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now the information on this one, our kit is called Art Loft. This is the Curio pattern from the Make It Modern book. Now our alternate is Gallery.
Now this quilt is called Square Up. And you know, I loved it in the first fabric that Fran put it in, but this one just almost takes my breath away. I like it so much. That awesome aqua with that purple, it's just cool. And you know my little motto of always get a lot of movement in your quilts. This one has a lot of movement. Let's put it on the table and talk about the kit. I love, love, love this fabric. Did I say that already?
Yeah, I love this fabric too. There's so many little bits about this fabric that are really special.
Yes, I love the gold splatter, and I love the number 1 fabric. The number 1 fabric is just beautiful in itself with all that movement, and it works so well as the way you design this is just so cool. Your focus fabric is just all over the front of the quilt. It's gorgeous.
And it really, okay, so in a square like this, normally your eye kind of stops because it's a square and you want to look at it. And when there's multiples like this, it works. But in this case, with the movement of the fabric, the print on the fabric really takes your eye across the surface.
It almost draws you into the center of it.
So
I know, it's so cool. That's how I like this fabric. This is the number 1 fabric, and you're going to see how it frames these blocks. It's just awesome.
So good.
And then our number 2, and you know, we're always saying have a really interesting fabric in your number 2 position, and this is certainly going to fulfill that, isn't it?
And you know what I think is cool about this too is often we think of light colors as our number 2, like off-whites or beiges or grays. This is not.
Right,
But it still fits the principle.
Yeah, you just have to get that contrast. So you, after you take out your focus fabric, then you put these 2 together, and the lightest becomes the number 2, and then the darkest of those goes to the number 3. And you know, it is the perfect formula for picking out your fabrics because it doesn't make it hard. Even though the original or your focus fabric is kind of dark also, it still works. We design it to work that way.
This is so, so much fun. Now this gorgeous kit, as well as all the other ones that we're featuring in this video, the links are below in the See More button, so be sure and check out those descriptions, hit those links, and it'll take you directly to the kits.
Now this kit is called Wild Side. It's the square up pattern from the Make It Modern book, and an alternate pattern would be Illusions.
Now this is Fandango, and doesn't this look like a piece of art? I mean, the fabric that we've put in this, great pattern to begin with. So let me talk about that first. So we have two different blocks. We have like a square and a square here, and then we have like a half snowball here. The way that we turn these and put this together creates this amazing pattern that really features the fabric. Now, we've got this held up here, so I want to point this out before we get it on the table. The number one fabric, the focus fabric, we have used an ombre. And as you can see at the bottom, the squares, the fabric in the squares is a little bit darker, and we've positioned the squares so that they get lighter to the top. And that's what creates a really cool piece of art right here on a quilt. So let's get it on the table and check out the fabric. Okay, Mom, let's look at this fabric in relation to this pattern because it's amazing. So we talked about the fact that our focus fabric is an ombre fabric. And what's really cool about this fabric is it goes light to dark from selvage to selvage. So at the top selvage or bottom, whatever, it's light and then it goes to dark. And what that does is it creates this illusion that you've used more than one fabric in the pattern. And as you can see on the Fandango where we've put it here, the darker squares, we've positioned those on the bottom. So we just made sure we laid it out and then put the lighter ones at top, and it just is amazing.
You know, ombres have become so popular, and if you've not ever tried one, you really do need to, because it's like magic.
It is like magic.
And all of the fabrics we're showing you today are available by the yard at fabriccafe.com.
That's awesome. So our ombre is the focus fabric, and it's really fun. We have got all of our big circles here, and it does go light to dark like a traditional ombre. So we've got an image on the screen for you so that you can see from selvage to selvage, one selvage is light, the other is dark, so it works really well. And we've positioned our squares as we've made them that way, so it's really great. All right, we've got this focus fabric, our ombre and our half snowballs here, and in our block and a block, as well as a little on the border. And then our number two. Now, you know, from a distance, you almost think this is white, but it's just a very faint blue, which coordinates so well with our focus. So this is in our snowball here, which kind of really gives us that contrast that we're looking for, and works really well with the lighter parts of our ombre too. So that's really good. And then our number three is a really dark, rich navy, which has some texture to it, but that is what gives us our borders here on our blocks and our border on our quilt, which gives us that grounding. I know you always are saying, well, it's grounding it. It does. It really, really does. And you know, I want to point out here too, which I think is kind of fun. We have our circle ombre fabric, but our quilter put all these little circles on it. And I think that just reflects so well, and it's just so much fun.
You know, you have created quite the sophisticated quilt with this fabric. It is gorgeous.
Thank you. It is really a lot of fun. I really like it. So let's get you the kit information on this one. This fabric kit is called Dot Party, and we have put it in the Fandango pattern from the Make It Modern book. With your single kit, you will get the Easy Street pattern.
Now this one is called Pirouette, and it is made with happy, happy fabric. I love it. It makes me smile. It looks like a party, so I do like it. And I love the way that the block placement on this one makes it look like a flower. So it's just so cool. Let's put it on the table and talk about it. So it's such an easy block. So let's block it out here so you can see how easy it is to make this particular one. You start out with a strip assembly, and you're going to have the two darker colors with a center strip here, and then you cut your units. So you'll have those long strips, cut your units, and then we're going to add a piece here and a piece here on the sides.
Very simple.
Very, very simple.
Very simple.
And then you add one more piece, and that is just easy.
It's super simple.
And then whenever you place these on the block, they're going to be turned and twist, and it makes it look like a much more complicated block.
It is fun.
Love it. This looks like a party to me. It's just so fun. So the number one fabric is going to be, you kind of have to look a little bit, because even though there's a lot of contrast, they all are just so fun.
They're just such jewel tones, just so bright.
So this is our number one fabric here, and then this is our number two, and we continue with our little 1, 2, 3. Easy does it every single time with a 3-yard quilt. and that's going to be your background. Now, if you did not have each of these fabrics doing their job, and that is the background for number 2.
That's right.
It's what makes the whole design pop forward. And then you have the number 3 fabric, which is adorable, and that will go everywhere you see the green. So you can see there is the green, the pink, the pink. I mean, it really
so
does
fun.
work well together.
It is really so much fun.
This one is called Twist and Shout. It is the Pirouette pattern from the Make It Modern book.
Now this is our Crystalline pattern, and this is just gorgeous. These rich, rich blues and golds and beiges all come together on the surface of this quilt to make just a beautiful quilt. Now this is also a cool pattern. This is well, it's actually a 1 block. Basically what we're doing is we're making 1 block over and over again. We rotate it, put it together, and that is how this star is created. So it comes together very fast, and it's perfect in these kind of textural fabrics. So let's get it on the table and check out the fabric. Now, Mom, this is gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. This is all kind of a marbly, it's all come together, and they're beautiful colors with the blues, a little bit of a jade green, the beiges and golds all come together. And this is our focus fabric. And as you can see, it's going in our half square triangles and our little squares here, a little bit on the border and binding as well, but it's just such a great fabric to put in a pattern like this because it increases the movement.
Yes.
So, so pretty. Then our number 2 fabric, now remember you take the focus away and compare the next 2, our lightest here is this wonderful beige with all this texture to it. It's just so fun. And that is what is creating our star here. We have a little bit at each block, each and every block, and just gives us that contrast, but very warm, very, very warm. And then our number 3 fabric, which is the darkest of the 2 remaining. Oh, wow. Look at this. Is this not just blues and the greens and the golds and the beiges just all come together beautifully?
I just keep thinking this would be the best gift quilt for a guy.
Oh my goodness, it would. I definitely agree with you. Now, as our number 3 fabric, once again, it's in every block. That, of course, this is a 1 block, so you make them, turn them, and this fabric is in every block as well as on the border, and it just works so beautifully. Now, remember we talked about at the very beginning of this video that we were going to give away some fabric?
3 winners will get a kit and a copy of Fran's book, Make It Modern.
And the submission form is in the description below.
Make sure that you fill it out by March 12th.
So we will get this to you. Now let's get the kit information for you. This fabric kit is called Surge. This is the Crystalline pattern from the Make It Modern book. And our alternate that we're suggesting is Windmill.
Now this pattern is called Interlock. And don't you just love every one of these modern quilts? They are put together so beautifully with incredible fabrics. So I'm just over the top with them. So this one with the purple, who doesn't love purple? I do love purple. And this wonderful fabric here with so much movement in it. Between the movement of the fabric and the movement of the pattern design, let's put it on the table and talk about the kit. I'm always talking about the movement of a quilt. And a lot of what that is that your lightest fabric is where your eye will travel to rest. But on this particular quilt, we not only move around the quilt, we move through the quilt because it's like it's dimensional.
It is.
Yeah,
It really does look dimensional.
Yeah, I mean, you look over here and you want to look down into this one, and then you look over here and here's a totally different looking design. But I know Fran, she writes incredible patterns, and it is going to go together as a breeze.
This is a really simple block, primarily made with strip piecing, which is pretty cool. Which is really cool.
It is cool. But I do like this one especially because of that movement and the depth that you got with your piecing and your color placement.
And this fabric works perfectly.
It does. So this is our number 1 fabric, and it's going to be everywhere you see that little swirly going on here. And like she said, she used a lot of strip piecing in this, so it's just amazing how it goes in here. And then the accent of the white in the background so that you can see all of that design coming forward. It's just it's a piece of art.
Oh, thank you.
It is truly. I'm very proud of my daughter. I guess you can tell. And then look at that purple. Isn't that gorgeous?
That's a great purple.
Yeah, that is a great purple. And it's going to add that what I call grounding, what you call the pop of color. It just goes together so
settles.
well.
And you know, we've had so many great kits already in this video for the Make It Modern book. Make It Modern book, the fabrics are just so special, I think, always.
I think so too.
And all of the kits that you're seeing today are available. They're in the description below. Just hit that See More button and they're all there. But remember, we have limited quantities, so be sure to hustle over there quickly.
I don't think these will be around very long.
No, they're gorgeous.
They are gorgeous. So this one is called Fun and Funky. It's the interlock pattern from Make It Modern, and the alternate pattern is Arcade.
Now this one is called Saltillo, and isn't this a great vertical movement here? I really like the way your eye travels down the quilt here, and you've kind of got this border going. Now what's really cool about this pattern, it's actually just 2 blocks to make all of this. We have one block here that has our half square triangles in it, and then we just have a block here that is simply strip pieced, put together very, very quickly. You put all of that together and it makes this amazing quilt. Now we've got some great focus fabric right in the middle of these blocks here. Let's put this on the table and check it out. So I really love the movement on this quilt that is created from the piecing. I think it's very cool. And what's neat is this is great for a really bold floral print like this. And I love the colors in this, even though they're blacks and whites and beiges, it just comes together so striking, I think.
And I love it on the border. It just seems like the perfect balance with the centers of the design.
I agree. I think that is very cool. And really, this is a neutral quilt in a way, and it could probably go in any
It would
room.
go in my house.
It would. Would you like a quilt?
I love this one.
So we have our gorgeous focus fabric, like we said, in the middle here and in the border. And then our number 2, now, you know, we're always saying it, never boring. And this one is a little different. It has that little X and that little dot in there. But it's a small enough pattern in contrast to the other one that I think it works beautifully in the background.
I think it does too.
And it's in these half square triangles here and our alternate block, as well as just a smidge on the border and the binding, which is great. Then to kind of really ground it and make that pop, it's our black that is a textural black. The black actually goes a little light, so it almost looks like a beige, and it looks so great with our focus fabric.
It is gorgeous.
And that creates this great graphical border on this that really makes this look like, how in the world did you do that block? So I think this one turned out great.
You know, I think 3-yard quilts make you look good.
Oh, they do.
Because you almost can't make a bad quilt with a 3-yard quilt. If you agree, please let us know in the comments.
Absolutely. And we have so many amazing quilters, so many amazing quilters. It's just so inspiring. All of you inspire us so much, sending us your images and everything of things you've done. It's just incredible.
We see what you send in, and we are just always so impressed with your color combinations.
All right, let's get them the kit info on this. This is called Date Night, and once again, this is the Saltillo pattern from the Make It Modern book, and the alternate pattern that we're suggesting is Diamond Dust.
Now, this pattern is called Tranquility, and I believe Fran, whenever she first showed me this quilt, she was telling me that she thought it looked sort of like those water features where the water was flowing from one container to the next, or in a waterfall, and I think that really does. This is pretty fabric. Let's put it on the table and talk more about this block. You know, this is a great use of one focus fabric and then the 2 solid colors. You know, a lot of times we have multiple patterns, and you could easily do that with this one, but this is a great, I don't know, it just really frames this beautiful floral.
It really does, and it's kind of cool because, so what you said about it being like a waterfall, that is exactly what I was thinking. It's like these florals just kind of flow and drip into the next block, which is so cool.
Yes, I do. I love that. Now, this is the number 1 fabric, and it's going to go in the center of the block, and then we'll also be using it on the binding. And I think that adds a nice little touch because we have such a pretty little binding. I like that. And then you've got your number 2 fabric, which is the light, which, as you know, it's your resting place so that you can, for your eyes, so you can really see the design of this quilt.
So pretty.
And then to frame it all together and give it that kind of holding it in like the picture frame is the teal, or is that a teal? Is that what you call it?
I would say so.
Yeah.
A teal.
And look at how that is actually pulling out a teal that you might not even see whenever you're first looking at it. I mean, at first I just saw the pink.
Right.
But that teal is so perfect in pulling out that color from the focus fabric. So this one is called Retro Garden. It's the Tranquility pattern from Make It Modern, and an alternate pattern would be Lickety Split.
So what was your favorite quilt that we showed today?
And remember, fill out the giveaway form that you'll find in the description and have it in to us by March 12th.
And if you liked all of the quilts from the Make It Modern that you saw today, be sure and check out the original quilts in the video that pops up.